there's a lot of burden on us in our early years, like the young family years. Buy a house, buy a couple cars, have kids, go on mat leave, put your kid in daycare. And then don't forget, you're in your early career years. So you're not in your highest income earning potential either.
Mm.
But you have your largest mortgage and some of your largest costs when you're in your early career.
One of our six human needs is certainty. And of course, in life, there often is not certainty. So, in order to compensate, we need to be adaptable.
Divorce can be emotionally and financially overwhelming. That's why I'm teaming up with Sunny Wishart, president and founder of a la carte Financial and a certified financial planner. We will show you how to understand all things money without feeling ashamed, overwhelmed, embarrassed. You will learn more, ask questions. No question is a dumb question. Welcome to Money with Sunny. Let's get into it.
Welcome, everyone, to Money with Sunny. Morning, Sunny.
Morning, Wendy.
Today, we're going to talk about it's stereotypical, may not apply to you exactly, but in general, when Sunny is meeting with people, she finds that women are often more timid, shamed, fearful, and worried about their money, whereas men just seem to be more confident about their money. We just want to dive into it a little bit. If you're listening, you can take a few tips away on how to build your confidence around money. So, Sunny, I'll let you start. You're meeting with people every day. What are your thoughts around this?
Yeah, this subject was is great. And like you say, it's an overarching stereotype a bit, but it's just what I see a lot of. And my household included is often when someone reaches out to me to start the financial planning process, it's quite often the woman because she's worried about something or scared about something with their money.
And
And
what is she usually worried and scared about?
that they're floundering around and never going to get anywhere. And it usually comes from a space like the women also tend to be the ones who like lay eyes on the money more often and watch the money coming in and then going out. They're the ones watching it going out more often. They're maybe it's because there is still a lot of load on women to buy the kids new clothes, pay for the extracurricular activities. So we're seeing that. I feel like we have a long way to go in equalizing those burdens or, taking the kid to the dentist or whatever that's costing a lot of money. And whatever the case, they come to me and they're worried. They're worried that they're not going to ever get anywhere and they're going to spin the wheels forever or the debt's accumulating. What do we do? So I get in front of them and they see the money going out. They're just not seeing enough coming in. And they're also in these life stages where the kids are kind of younger, super expensive life stages. So sometimes it comes around just having that conversation like, hey, you've got a kid in daycare and a kid in hockey. Don't expect to be rich over the next 10 years. Maybe we just need to float along for a little while until things let up. But there's a lot of burden on us in our early years, like the young family years, to do everything. Get married, buy a house, buy a couple cars, have kids, go on mat leave, put your kid in daycare. And then don't forget, you're in your early career years. So you're not in your highest income earning potential either.
Mm.
But you have your largest mortgage and some of your largest costs when you're in your early career. And what if you got student loans? It is such, we have to do all the things at this certain stage, and it's so much pressure. And don't forget to save for your kids' RESP and your
Mm.
retirement.
So there's a lot to think about.
It's too much. It's
Mm.
just too much. So it's usually women in these life stages that come to me because they're like, how do I do everything? I'm like, you don't.
So the confidence, do you think the lack of confidence in women comes from their rumination and their worry and just they're out of touch with the finances usually? I mean, from when I'm working with people, I find that when they're most worried about something, money included, it's because they're not doing the work. They're not understanding, gathering the knowledge, creating the plan, doing the work to see that they're capable and competent and able to take the money that they have and spend it, save it, and invest it properly because they don't know where to start. So starting and then just doing one small thing at a time can build that confidence because you get yourself into a positive feedback loop where, okay, I did this, check, great. Did this, check, great. And it's a self-discovery process where you start to realize I can do this. It's just the little steps that stack on top of each other one at a time that make a huge difference when it comes to getting your money organized and kind of getting out of that rumination and worry and overwhelm. Do you agree with that, Sunny?
100%. And when you said the one thing at a time, that's the important part because as women, we have busy minds. We can do one task and we can do two tasks and think of other two tasks. It's a lot. But when it comes to money and where you think it needs to be doing everything all at once, then you don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It the analysis paralysis
Mm-hmm.
that hits us. So it often starts with those little steps. First, I'm going to get you to do this and just that. And I want you to do that for 1 year. That's it.
And where
It
would you
depends.
usually start with someone if they come to you and they're, I mean, every situation's unique and different. I understand that. But where would you usually start with someone? First steps, gathering data might be a first step.
I have the conversation with them and I get an idea of where their fear is based from.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always poking around to see if it's a cash flow management issue. So if it's a cash flow management, which means you're not managing, you're floundering around and you have
Mm-hmm.
no strategies around the income and expenses, we are going to start there. We will not move forward with any further planning until that is a well-oiled machine because what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just a waste of everyone's like time and money, like paying me to do a plan when they don't know what's happening in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I always start with having that conversation of where is this, what's the spirit behind the worry? And sometimes it's not cash. They're like, nope, we have a budget, we're doing great. And I'm like, I'm always super happy and impressed. We
Mm-hmm.
move forward to the next phase of planning, which is what are your short and medium term goals? Right? Like long term goals will come, but what are those short and medium term goals? And let's make sure those are getting targeted because they're coming up first.
Mm-hmm.
And we can kind of just start with these little baby steps and kind of work towards each of those and build and build and build over time. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the conversation is just me talking them down like, you're going to be okay. You're only in your 30s. You've got a couple kids in daycare. It's really tough right now. Let's look at changing everything in XYZ year when the kids start school and this
Mm-hmm.
lets up a little bit. This is just a point in time. I think we get really caught up and it's going to be like this forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. And learning and doing fosters adaptability. So the ability to adapt to new situations and navigate the unknown can boost confidence, especially as you become more comfortable with uncertainty and change. One of our six human needs is certainty. And of course, in life, there often is not certainty. So, in order to compensate, we need to be adaptable and we need to be flexible. And then the more that you learn and grow, and the quicker that you can say, all right, that's not working, chuck it, that's working, keep it. You build these skills that create a confidence around your money. So it really is just I mean, there's many, many, many careers around money. There's financial advisors, there's financial investment advisors, there's, certified financial planners, and the list goes on and on and on for a reason, because it's a study, it's an area of expertise, and nobody expects that you're going to just be born and know this stuff. You need to learn it. And you may be in a situation now where you're 30, 40, 50 years old and you've never learned it. Wasn't talked about in your home, wasn't ever discussed in your friend group. Some people don't talk about money ever, and that's normal. So first of all, accept that that's normal. You're not a weirdo, you're not a dummy. You just never took the time to learn it. You never had an opportunity to learn it. Now's your time. So one step at a time. Slowly you learn, learn, learn. Oh, a little more confident. Learn, learn, learn. Okay. Learn, learn. Eventually you'll come to Sunny with some of your own ideas and some of your own interests and ways that you might want to make investment. I mean, it really is cool, but it is one step at a time, and you just start with the basics, and Sunny works with you through that process. So I think people think that they are not confident. They're scared. You're scared to talk about it. And you're scared because you might ask a silly question, which, of course, you've heard that there are no silly questions. But I'm telling you, there are no silly questions. And you meet up with someone who you're comfortable with. If anyone ever makes you feel uncomfortable or like you're asking a silly question, end the relationship, move on. There's lots of people out there that you can work with. Sunny works with people and she never does that. There are no silly questions. This is a learning process. Yeah, she might be way up here and you might be way down here, but guess what? You're going to get up there. You're going to learn. So you're working with someone that you feel real comfortable with. You're first off making that first call, sending that first email, and you've got this. You can do it. But it's just going to take a little time and effort. But I think everyone would agree that money's important. You need the money to pay the bills. So if someone comes to you, Sunny, and she is, all over the place, worried, overwhelmed, feeling ashamed, you can tell she might know a little more than she thinks she knows, but she doesn't feel like she knows anything. She's just feeling like I don't even know where to start. I hear that first off is you would look at their cash flow. You would ask her to look at her cash flow and to kind of figure out how much money she brings in and how much money she's spending. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the
And then
baby steps. Start there.
once she's got that down pat, then you move on to you let us know.
So we move on to working towards the other goals. So we're always going to want to know, well, what are your goals? Which I'm really great at this conversation. It's such a tough question sometimes to just answer. So we chat and I can get an idea of where the concerns are coming from, which leads you towards the goals.
So
So
you guide them and provide them with the expertise to move towards their goals, and then you hold them accountable to those goals. And along with the flexibility and the adjustment and the adaptability, you work towards them. That's kind of what I'm hearing?
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And I
So
like when you said the no silly questions because there is nothing worse than when someone doesn't ask questions because I feel like they're not invested or engaged in what
mm,
we're doing. And I love all questions. I get excited. So I ask everything.
yeah. And you're not a mind reader. So you can't know what's important to them or what they're thinking and festering and worrying about. So you know, it's important for you before you have the conversation to think about what you want to ask, know what you don't know, and get those questions answered. And you could even say, listen, I don't know what I don't know, and I need your help. I don't know everything here, and I need your help, your guidance to get me to this spot. And it's all possible with someone with the inspiration, the accountability, the motivation, and the hand holding and the guidance. You can do it. I think it's really important to meet the right person. I think it's really important to be working with the right person. That's going to get you a lot further and further along. You have to feel very comfortable with your person. You have to be able to shoot a text or shoot an email or communicate anytime and not feel like it's a bother. I mean, that's my opinion, and that's the people I like to work with. But it does start with you being honest with yourself. So, how much money do you have? How much money are you spending? I mean, figure it out. You know the answer. So, come to the meeting with that answer, and then you'll move forward a lot quicker. And if you're making $100 and you're spending 300, that's all right. Now you come to the conversation with that answer, and then you move forward from there. It's simple as that, and it's just being honest with your situation. And you might have to spend $300 for the next year or two because you're working towards completing your certification, and then you're going to be earning this much money and in the workforce. That's part of the plan. That's okay too. So you just plan it out and figure it out. You might need to take a loan. You might just get some money from your dad or who know whatever your situation is. Figure it out, and then once you know, I'm telling you because I worked through this in this decade of my life. All right, it's not the proudest thing for me to say, but hey, it took me 50 years. Finally tried to figure it out. Still learning every day, but it took me a while, and it does feel good to have some understanding. You can sleep better at night. That is the truth. Because if you don't have any understanding, you're just going to keep having those same little things running around your mind, driving yourself crazy. And I spent a lot of years doing that. So I don't want that for you. So, yeah, any final words, Sunny? And then we'll over and out.
I love what you said, the one step at a time.
Mm,
And then you can just focus on that, and that'll help eliminate a lot of worry.
hmm And eliminate a lot of those little voices that just keep going blah, 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 which, by the way, and I'd like to reiterate, are usually and most often not true. So those little voices that are running through your head, don't listen to those. They're not true. You've got a you back behind those voices that knows what's right for you. And you'd like to listen to that. And you can find that by working with the right people. So it's been great to be here today with you, Sunny. It's been great to talk to you all. And we look forward to seeing you again next week.